All right. Let's see. We got the green light. Yeah. Um. Dun, 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 let me switch to that. Ugh, damn it. Um. Tech. All right. There we go. So I'm going to keep it until 2 minutes, and then I'm going to start. 145, 150. Okay. I think we're good to start. So, episode 2, Community Circle. This is my podcast show, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be doing it every Wednesday live. So, after I do my predictions, come hang out and talk with me live. Now, we got some stuff to cover this week. Um, Starting off with Cedric Dumas pulling out of UFC 317 yesterday. Christopher Ewart is stepping in his place. Um, Article reads Cedric Dumas won't compete at UFC 317, while the exact circumstance of his absence from Saturday's event remains unclear. His previous scheduled opponent, Jackson McVee, will now battle surging Chilean newcomer Christopher Ewart at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Two people with knowledge of this change informed MMA Junkie of the new booking Tuesday, but asked to remain anonymous as the promotion has yet to make an official announcement. Ewart 7-0 MMA, 0-0 in the UFC, was long on the UFC's radar, initially booked for Daylight Contender Series on August 2nd versus Yuri Pankrov. He'll instead debut on 4 days' notice against a fellow newcomer born in Chile. Ewart has 5 knockouts and 7 pro bouts. He trains under Javier Torres at Ultimate Combat Training Center in Mesa, Arizona. McVeigh, 7-0 in the UFC, has never seen the second round with 6 first-round finishes and has many pro appearances. He trains under Mike Rogers at St. Charles MMA in St. Charles, Missouri, I do believe, and competed for LFA and Shamrock FC during his pro build. Dumas, 10-3, 3-3 in the UFC, looked to bounce back from an April loss to Mikhail Zachek less than 3 weeks after the fight. Dumas was arrested for home invasion and battery, among other charges, Escambia County, Florida, or in Escambia County, Florida. Court records show Dumas' attorney filed a motion Monday to modify Dumas' bond agreement It's unclear what those request changes are, but the initial terms limited him to a 100-mile radius of his residence when he partook in GPS monitoring. So now, looking at this card, we got the main event, Elite Tapoya, Charles Oliveira. A long-awaited fight. We wanted to see Ilya versus Islam. Again, though, Oliveira, one of the greatest lightweights to do it. The moment he had a kid, everything clicked for him. Get the fuck out of here, Dana White. Um, but yeah, really looking forward to its main event. And two, this is where I lead to point. I can really reach that Connor status, that superstar status, getting two belts in around a year. You know, we can talk about Volk coming in way too early after the knockout against Islam short notice. But again, whatever happens in the cage gets written down, and that's the result of that fight. You got Pantoja taking on Kaiko France once again. They fought on the Ultimate Fighter, a really good fight, really close fight. I think Alexander Pantoja is too much. I think that he is probably the best grappler in flyweight. Kaiko France, knockout machine in flyweight, which is very unheard of. Um, But I just think over the span of 5 rounds, he'll be able to control Kai Carfon's weather the storm. And I think Kai Carfon's best chances are in the first 3 rounds. Then you got Brendan Royval taking on Joshua Van. We're supposed to be the long awaited, multiple time fucking booked Manel Cop Brendan Royval fight for the number one contendership. But you got Joshua Van coming in off of an incredible performance against Bruno Silva, where he KO'd him in the 3rd round. It's definitely a big jump in competition for him. Um, I I lean towards Brendan Royval. And in my predictions, if you watch them, I actually put Joshua Van's picture instead of Brendan Royval stupidly, and I just left it in for shits and giggles. But then you got Benil Dariush versus Renato Moicano, supposed to happen in January. Armand got injured, Renato Moicano moved up and got submitted by Islam, and Islam what appeared to be his last lightweight fight. Then you got Felipe Lima versus Peyton Talbot. I think Felipe Lima is a terrible matchup for Peyton Talbot. Looking at what he had to go through against Leone Barcelos, I think Felipe Lima is a younger, more talented grappler, and I see him getting it done in the 2nd round with a submission. Jack Manson, Gregory Rodriguez, both of these guys really good grapplers, moved into more of a striking heavy offense. But I think that Jack Manson can hold on, stay in the rankings at middleweight. Gregory Rodriguez really good, did really good in the first few rounds against um oh shit. Jared Cannonier. But Jared Cannonier was able to find the TKO in the 4th round. You got Hyder Mill, really good prospect, undefeated, versus Jose Delgado. I like that fight. Hyder Mill brings that DDP-esque style of constant pressure, constant blitzing, always in your face. Jose Delgado is really good too, but I see Hyder Mill the pace being too much. Vivian Araújo versus Tracy Cortez, and another interesting fight. Vivian Araújo on a bit of a win streak. Tracy Cortez only losing to Rose Namajunas, and also Tracy Cortez. But I think it'll be a good women's fight. Again, you never know with women's MMA though. Then we got Vasco Borgia versus Terrence McKinney. That fight is guaranteed to end in a finish. Terrence McKinney, his last 5 fights have ended in the first round. He's won 3 of them, lost 2 of them, and Borgia, he's a beast, man. Then you got the preliminary cards, Christopher Ewart versus Jackson McVeigh. I didn't have the news that Cedric Dumas pulled out, but I would lean towards Jackson McVeigh. Like, I picked Dumas to win purely because of the experience at what you want in the UFC. And but Jackson McVeigh don't want a first round TKOs as weight. Again, it's just a matter of can these guys do what they do on the regional scenes in the UFC. And majority of the time, that's been a no lately. You got Janata Denise versus Alvin Hines. Alvin Hines, another guy coming into the UFC. Um, it is a heavyweight fight. Anything can happen. But once again, it's Denise has been here for a little bit. He's had a few fights. He's adjusted to the UFC. But it's going to come down to one big punch. If it's going to end in a finish, it's going to be a big punch. Then you got Nico Price on a decline, taking on undefeated Jacoby Smith. I really like this fight. Jacoby Smith is well rounded, really good power in his hands and legs. And Nico Price, he had a good run, but it's father time, right? Undefeated. I see Jacoby Smith getting another knockout, moving his way up the rankings. And then, is that all we're gonna get? Yeah. Um, but yeah, all in all, this is the best card on paper that we've had all year. But the problem is, and I'm gonna sound like such a hater, this fight card would have been one of the worst fight cards 3 years ago. This would have been lackluster, even with the two title fights. But I mean, you get what you get as a UFC fan, as an MMA fan. The main focus here, though, is Ilya Tuporia. Can he become a major star? Can he be the Conor McGregor-esque fighter? And if he finishes Oliveira, and if he can get through Arman Sarukian, I think he surpasses Conor. I think that, Conor has the better trash talk, 100%. But, like, you look at Tuporia, you look at how well-rounded he is, you look at his camp, everything around him, and he's not a big partier. You'll see him at clubs, you'll see him at all these places. But I think Ilya Taporia, he did say he wanted to retire around 30. I doubt that. Maybe he retires around 34, 35. I can see him retiring early. Just, he has a lot of money placed on the table for him. And then obviously, if he can adjust to lightweight, well, get a few wins. In the back of your mind, if Islam wins that title, even though he's really small, you gotta be thinking about that possibility, right? Um, Pantoja, kind of the same thing. A lot of people wanted to see him and Marab instead of Marab and Sean and this fight. I think that if he wins, without a doubt, you have to move him up. Like, there's nothing left in the division for Pantoja unless Van beats Brendan Royval. Then you got a bit of a contender there, a very young contender too. Um, but I kind of think that Van will win the vacant title eventually. I don't know if he'll be the next guy to get the flyweight title, but I think he will get one within the next few years. Benil Darius, Renato Moicano, Moicano trying to rebound off of the loss to Islam before that. He was on a 5 foot win streak. Looked incredible. They're both veterans, both over 36. Benil Darius had an incredible run, only losing to Armand Sarukian and Charles Oliveira, who are the number one and number two contenders. But again, man, it's when you reach that age in these lower weight classes, that age starts to show. I would really say it's not until middleweight where you do see these 35 plus guys actually make it to the top. You know, Bilal Muhammad, though, he won that belt. Alexander Volkanovski, he won back his belt. But again, it's usually the majority of fighters, even with the conditioning, even with the resources out there now, the decline is 35. Now, huh? What do I want to cover first? Let's let's move on to the Ben Askren update. Um, yeah, I want to save the John Jones and the specifically the Liver King shit for last. I'm going to make a full video on it. Um, but here we go. Ben Askren on lung transplant list and showing signs of improvement. This was uploaded 4 hours ago. Former UFC and Bellator and One fighter, Ben Askren remains in a Wisconsin hospital and is showing signs of improvement. Former UFC and Bellator fighter Ben Askren is officially on the transplant list to receive a new one. Askren's wife, Amy, provided an update on her husband's condition and revealed Funky is showing signs of improvement. On June 7th, Amy revealed that the former ONE FC and Bellator champion had been hospitalized in Nevada with severe pneumonia. He was moved to a Wisconsin facility to be closer to home and family. Askren remains in the hospital awaiting a lung transplant, but is having more periods of awareness. As of late last night, Ben is officially on the transplant list. Please pray he can get stronger and stay stable without complications while he waits, and that they find an amazing match for him and he accepts it smoothly. Also, please pray for whoever the donor may be and his family. Amy wrote. It's going to be a huge adjustment for Ben, but our family is so thankful for that his other organs are okay and that there is a path forward. While he is having more periods of awareness, he's not able to work on his phone yet and respond to messages. I am hoping he can get there in the next week or two. Also hoping we will get to a place soon where he can talk while on a track. Yesterday, he kept mouthing something for a while, and we finally figured out he was saying coffee. He can't wait to have it. Well, what a huge relief to see him asking for something so normal. I covered this a few days ago, and again, like this situation is so shitty. Like, unlike the BJ Penn situation, Nick Diaz, whatever situation, John Jones, which we're about to get to, um, Ben Askren did not put this on himself. He got pneumonia, collapsed his lung. So I mean, even if you're the biggest Ben Askren hater, you gotta be supporting him through this. Like, at the end of the day, he's just a fighter. He's just a character we watch on TV. And when he goes home with his wife and kids, he's a completely different person. When he's out in public at a bar or something, shut up, phone. Um, different person from the guy in the cage. Um, let's see. I'm so thankful his mind is healthy, and I can't wait for him to get. I can't wait for him to have him back. We are also so thankful for the amazing community we have we have from close friends, friends we haven't talked to in 20 years, to strangers who have reached out to share their similar stories or pray. Thank you. Ashkin retired from MMA in 2019, fought Jake Paul in 2021, and has a podcast with Daniel Cormier. Now, Ben Askren, honestly, is one of my favorite characters in MMA. And I'm not even saying this to, sweeten him up and that. I think Ben Askren was fucking, or is fucking hilarious, man. Especially when he came over into the UFC and him and Dana had that whole, beef with one another where Ben Askren shit on Dana White. Dana White shit on Ben Askren for fighting outside the UFC. But again, all that goes through the window when it comes to near death experiences, right? But again, I hope he recovers. I think he's a really, really smart person. I think when it comes to breakdowns, he's really good at them. And once again, guy's fucking hilarious. Now, now. Um, where the fuck did my article go? Ah, we go. I'm not paying for your stupid digital art. Fine, fuck you then. I'm not even gonna read your article. Um, I need to do that. There we go. Dick. Alright. John Jones' attorney comes out swinging. Albuquerque police released video. They say uh, they say proves officers were threatened. Oh boy, oh boy. The gloves come off in the latest case involving Albuquerque fighter John Jones. In the wake of the allegations that Jones left the scene of an accident in February. His attorney, Christopher Dodd, has accused the Albuquerque Police Department of improperly targeting his client, wasting exorbitant amounts of resources for what amounted merely to a misdemeanor traffic case that took 4 months to investigate. I now originally when I heard this, I didn't hear it was from February until like 2 days later. Well, let's continue. I've never seen a case as strange and unwarranted as this one. Dodd wrote. John was not driving that night. He wasn't in the car. It appears that an intoxicated woman used a false allegation against John to avoid being arrested for a DWI, and the police fell for it. But why would you then threaten the cops and say that you have your boys and they kill people for weight loss? I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of the facts of this case that stands out to me. I don't know why, though. I don't know why. Maybe death threats are normal. Jones, 37, was the UFC heavyweight champion until this weekend when UFC President Dana White unceremoniously announced on Saturday that Jones has called him on Friday and announced his retirement. The news of Jones' retirement prompted the Journal to search court records, where it found he was charged just last week by APD in relation to that February crash. Neither White nor a social media post from Jones later Saturday night confirming the retirement mentioned in his recent charge. Before publishing the article, the Journal asked Jones' agent, attorney, and the UFC for comment and what role, if any, the recent criminal case had in the fighter's decision to retire. None issued one following the publication of the journal story. Jones posted again on his X account. Keep in mind, even the media can get it wrong sometimes. If they don't have all the facts, he stated, don't believe everything you hear. Sunday, White was asked at a media event in New York if he saw the journal's article. When I saw it today, I said everyone is going to think this is why he retired. Maybe that's why he retired. Who the hell knows? I don't know. These are all questions you have to ask him. 100%. What does the police video show? Meanwhile, Albuquerque police on Monday provided the journal with portions away from video footage um, from the police safety aides and one police officer from the scene of the February 21st crash near the intersection of San Mateo and Walmart, in which a woman, half clothed, who admitted she had been drinking and consumed mushrooms, was found in the passenger seat and repeatedly tells officers that it was her car and that John Jones, the fighter, was the driver and he left after the crash. Now, we've all watched this video. I need to make sure that my audio is up. Yes, it is. Once again, we're gonna watch this. Um,
Hey, where'd he go? Where'd he go off running? I have one of the drivers leaving the scene on foot, heading westbound on Lomas. Sure, sir. Okay, they're gonna check you out, okay, ma'am? She's over here. Oh, she has no pants. Okay. She said she has no pants.
No pants. Okay, that's fine. Can we ask what's going on?
Please talk to him. Please talk to him. This is a friend that.
so she's hysterical in the car. She calls John Jones. Hey, look at that shit. I wonder what video that is. Then John starts talking to the cops over the phone. And this is where the whole thing about, him not being involved, not doing anything wrong. This is not how you respond to cops. And I know for a fact John Jones was intoxicated this night. He probably is intoxicated every night.
That's a friend of mine.
Hello, who am I speaking to? Me is PSA Lopez. And who am I speaking to?
What's your name?
PSA Lopez? With the Albuquerque Police Department?
Look at that fucking dent too. Like I wonder if they're actually gonna post a video of the crash or not. I haven't seen one yet. But like, if you look at that panel, it's dented up. She says this is her car, but I know that didn't John, the one where he fired off a gun in public, it was like a white sedan like this. I guess it's kind of sedan hatchback. I can't tell which car it is.
How many guys you guys I'll do with you?
Don't worry about that, man. Were you the one driving the vehicle?
And you're the one driving the vehicle, and then you get a long pause. People have nothing to hide. Usually have long pauses.
My brothers attacked the dreams of the sisters and cell phones.
He was the one driving the vehicle.
So I think that's the part I can barely hear it, where he says, "My brothers have killed people for way less," and then the woman confirms, yes, he was driving. Um, Again, fucking idiot, an absolute fucking idiot. I don't get how you can have this many DUIs and it doesn't click in your head that, hey, maybe I should just stay home or get a cab. But like, no, this is what, your third, fourth, fifth DUI. Again, you commit a hit and run to end your career the same way you got fucked up from the beginning. But yeah, man. It's like I said in my other videos. This was his chance to get shit right. This was his chance to just have a few years in the heavyweight division where he's fighting people. He's going after contender after contender. He doesn't need the money. It was about him cementing his legacy so that we could be like, all right, John Jones did pop. John Jones did all this shit. But hey, he walked in at the end of his career. He fought Stipe even though it was way past Stipe's time. He beat Gon. He fought Aspinall. He fought Almeida. And even if he lost, we could be like, hey, he was undefeated all that time. He actually stepped up and he faced the toughest test of his career. But no, now we ended off with another DUI. He's basically going down the same path as Connor did. I mean, he went down this path before Connor did.
They slip drills. They're the most evil people you'll ever meet.
That's John Jones.
John Jones?
He was the one
Once
driving.
again, confirming it's John Jones.
But they don't waste their cases with just killing you or petty crimes. But they definitely listen to conversations like this, and some of them are bored enough to kill you. To kill you. Because they listen. And they teach me to be a man when I'm a dog.
So, listen to me, man. He's making threats, and if he's making threats, I gotta call him off sorry.
Call him.
Again, it's not just one threat, it's multiple threats. It's him saying the same threat over and over again. Like an idiot. I really wish this black bar wasn't there.
Well, guess what, dude? You won't be the first guy this year that I is gonna die. You'll be the second one.
And who am I speaking to? You, John Jones?
What? If you're untraceable, my brothers, they kill people for way less.
Again, my brothers, they kill people for way less. And he's trying, he's trying to act like it's not him, but fuck, we all know what you sound like, John Jones. You're a public figure, man. Your voice is out there. Your voice has been around in the public for damn near 2 decades.
Sometimes she's gladly dead.
Yeah. Passenger stating that the subject, his name is John Jones, the fighter, and he was under the influence, bro.
The driver of the vehicle that fled is John Jones, the fighter.
I just got thrown over the phone.
PD to George 325.
I got thrown over the phone.
Right in the vehicle? What did it say?
Starting you to 82 36 reference possible criminal charges.
He said, I know some people that can hurt you for less money.
George 323 PD.
Yeah, it's him.
How do you know?
He has a picture and it sounds just exactly like him.
Did they confirm that it was him?
Yeah, she confirmed.
This is already exposing enough.
Exposing what?
Hold up, I missed that.
This is already exposing enough.
Exposing
You're already exposing enough.
what?
It's like this government, man.
Like the government and stuff. Like what?
I'll stay here.
Or the ones who will really kill
I
you.
got it.
Are the ones that will kill me?
No, not you. But like the government, he doesn't fuck with the government just for conversations like this already. I would imagine. Dude, my phone is 100% aware.
Dude, I don't know what the you're talking about. My car is wrecked.
If I grab this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And who's your friend?
My friend is Bones Jones, John Jones.
Okay.
And then again, she confirms once again it's John Jones. And that's how he fucking retires. The same fucking way his career went to shit is the exact same way. What? 10 years later? What wasn't the first one around like 2014, 2015 where he hit the pregnant lady? The video also clearly shows her calling a man who never identifies himself, while whom she says is Jones. We could tell from the speaker. And on speaker, the man talks to the police safety aide, doing the initial investigation and making the PSA believed to be a threatening remark. You won't be the first guy this year that I've threatened. You'd be the second. The man who never identified himself as Jones can be heard saying, maybe. It is unclear who he is referring to. Would take it out on the woman in the car if something bad ever happens. Just because of the extra abuse said, my brothers, they kill people for way less. So, I don't know if he's talking about Arthur and Chandler, but way to throw your brothers under the bus for being potential murderers. Good job, John Jones. If something happens to my dude, she says, the woman in the car, flat, and dead. The man says the man on the phone says. The man on the other end of the call never identifies himself as Jones, even when asked multiple times to identify himself. In addition to multiple phone calls and text messages, the PSA believed he was threatened by Jones during the interaction. APD spokesman Gilbert Galagos told the Journal when asked about Dodd's statement. So yes, for everyone's sake, APD officers took the incident seriously and conducted a more thorough investigation before making a decision to file charges. Court records show police subpoenaed Jones' phone records, which indicates his phone called the woman in the car multiple times that night in the time frame police were at the crash scene. According to the criminal complaint filed by Metropolitan Court, so Jones, when interviewed in person a few days after the crash, said the woman found in the car had left his house earlier in the day intoxicated and called him after getting in the crash, at which time Jones said the person she handed the phone to immediately opened the conversation with unprofessional language. We just saw the tape. That was not the case, which led him to doubt the legitimacy of the individual's claims. In the video APD released on Monday, PSA officers has handed the woman's phone and asked 2 times who he's speaking to, but doesn't receive an answer. The man on the phone asks the PSA to identify himself, and he does. Then the man on the other end of the phone asks how many officers are at the scene, to which the PSA responded, "Don't worry about that, man. Were you the one driving the vehicle?" Text messages, the criminal complaint indicates, were from Jones, were not able to be captured as part of the subpoena. The woman at the point in the video was reading text off of her phone, and my friend wants to have his number protected. She then gave the phone to the officers, and several text messages can be seen on the phone screen, though not close enough to read in the video provided to the journal. The man also can be heard at one point talking to the woman, saying, "This is already exposing enough," and comments about they and the government are listening to the calls. No shit. The video released Monday includes an interview with an eyewitness who said he saw a second vehicle hit the woman's car and believes the crash was the fault of the vehicle's driver. The woman in the car clearly says she believes Jones had run a red light and it was his fault. The eyewitness never gives an indication that he saw anyone leaving the car. Now that's interesting. That's interesting. Jones is in charge of the misdemeanor count of leaving the scene of an accident, contacted Monday evening after reviewing the police video uh, uh, police video released to the journal. Dodd said he had no further comment other than the statement he released to multiple outlets, but did note that he asked for the same video as part of the discovery process in a criminal case, but he was told it's not ready. John Jones had run-ins with the law in the past, some specifically with APD. Those included a 2015 arrest and felony charge related to a hit and run of a pregnant woman, in which Jones eventually pleaded guilty to leaving the scene of an accident. Accident was sentenced to supervised probation. There was also a 2016 case in which Jones was pulled over for suspicion of drag racing, and a lapel video shows Jones calling the officer extra wire, despicable, and a pig. Jones eventually pleaded to traffic violations, including modification of an exhaust system, failure to maintain lanes, and improper display of registration, and sentenced to community service. John's statement, first released late Sunday night, calls into question APD's tactics and motives. His full statement: "As John's lawyer, I am stunned the Albuquerque Police Department's decision to charge him in this new case. In the thousands of cases I've handled in my career, I've never seen a strange and unwarranted a case as strange and as unwarranted as this one. John was not driving that night. He wasn't in the car. It appears that an intoxicated woman used a false allegation against John to avoid being arrested for DWI, and the police fell for it. But then why do we have another witness saying that they saw John Jones flee the scene? Why would John answer the phone so aggressively? Why would John Jones threaten to kill cops? Like, again, like, this explanation is not answering any of these things. Based on the criminal complaint, it looked like they went so far as to seek a warrant for Jones' cell phone records while conducting a misdemeanor traffic investigation. I have never heard such a thing. It is truly unbelievable that the police would waste this amount of time and resources on such a case. The only thing I can think of is that the police are targeting John for improper purposes. We will get to the bottom of it and make sure this baseless claim is dismissed. Okay, well, again, I want to stress this. I'm gonna go big screen for this. Why would John Jones answer a call so aggressively when the cops came out and said, "Hey, I'm a cop. We're investigating this. Were you around this crash?" The last thing you should do to a cop is threaten to kill him. I I don't think I'm saying anything new here. I don't think I'm saying anything that's taboo. But yeah, man. It's just I genuinely thought that, hey, he was very disinterested when he was in my heavyweight those last few years. He looked shit in those fights, and he really did not care. He managed to walk away from the Santos fight and the Reyes fight with the win, even though he did not show up to fight at all. He was running away from him. Thiago Santos had one leg. But again, man, it's sad. It's just there's no way around it. It is heartbreaking that this guy cannot lock it down for more than 2 years. Lay out his fight career, go out, get the big money, build his legacy, and then you know what? If you start doing stupid shit when you retire, who gives a fuck, right? I mean, I do. I do. I don't want fighters dealing with, multiple DLIs, multiple drug addictions. I don't want seeing every fighter that retires go into rehab. And, that's a whole conversation about fighter health care, fighter health, and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, we will have to see what comes up about this case later. We'll have to see if John Jones will release his own statement. But again, man, it's just the irony of this whole situation that this is how this guy goes out. It's really fucking sad. But the last thing I want to, what do I have here? Uh, we just went over that. Okay. Now, the last little bit here that I want to cover, and I want to do a video on this shit too, but I'm still trying to learn. Okay. Can you calm down? There we go. So, if you guys have not seen any of this shit, Liver King is losing his fucking mind. I watched Jesse's video on this. Yeah, yesterday when I was at the gym, and dude, this guy is fucking losing it. So, well, I'm not even gonna play this video yet. I'm just gonna go on his Instagram and just show you dozens and dozens of videos. This guy's on meth. This guy's on some form of methamphetamine. I'm gonna say that right now. But social media personality Brian Johnson, who rose to fame under the Liver King moniker, was exposed to rampant steroid use back in 2022. It mattered because Johnson was selling supplements under the guise of an all-natural physique while pumping himself full of PEDs behind the scenes. UFC color commentator Joe Rogan was one of Johnson's most outspoken critics. Johnson recently posted a series of bizarre Instagram videos calling for a fight with Rogan and then flew to Austin with his family for what appeared to be a planned confrontation. Instead, Johnson was met by police and arrested for misdemeanor terroristic threats, and according to a report from TMZ, man to man, I'm picking a fight with you. I have no training in jiu-jitsu. You're a black belt. You should dismantle me. But I'm picking a fight with you. Your rules. I'll come to you whenever you're ready. And then we actually got footage of his arrest here as well. Man, wait. I like. Okay, let's watch the arrest video first. Why not?
We go separate or together? Okay, so what did they
What's
say?
up, Jerry?
Hey, listen, just
How's it going?
But they assured me he's going to be in and out.
Yeah.
It's like we got to process you. He'll bail out, but we're talking probably 24 hours.
24 hours?
Maybe first thing tomorrow when he sees the judge. I don't know.
Oh, so it's not an hour. He's gonna be the 24 hours.
I don't know. They could do a 24-hour.
Take you this way to the lobby.
Thank you. And then, do you know where their vehicle is? So
Yes, it's just gonna, when you go out to the drive.
I'm doing good, man.
your discretion. They said in and out, but to a cop, in and out could mean 24 hours.
Oh.
Lead them to the driveway.
The driveway is.
Okay. So that means 24 hours.
I don't know, Miss Barbara. I'm saying that they could hold him for 24 hours. However, they said in and out, which means they could go there and then he comes back out. But I'm under the assumption he would need to see a judge before he is dismissed. Rogan's guys are gone.
Really? Thank you.
Okay, so I have not seen that clip yet. I've only watched. Yeah, I only watched these. These were the ones that kicked it off. And you notice that his face. And I'll use this one too.
Would be way cooler if you.
You see these scabs right here. This guy's on meth. As somebody who literally talks to meth addicts every single day, this guy is on some form of methamphetamine. But again, like these videos were so abundant, kind of like the BJ Penn situation, right? Where it was video after video, very incoherent.
I know there's like an Instagram Live. I just don't know how to do it. I'm about to do a couple things. Why am I making the video? Oh, you go to Liver Queen. Look at her last post. She's like boxing with Coach Cameron, who's awesome. These are my marrow bones, by the way. Boom, boom, boom. Real marrow bones. Ooh. Dude, you should see me get down on a bone. Like, uh-oh.
What the fuck?
Don't do it in private. Let me see if I can lock it down. You wanna fight me? I'm actually pretty wild. The video, go to Liver Queen, go to her account, and look at her last video. She's boxing, she's fighting, you know. Read the post. Joe Rogan, baldy face. Hurts a little bit. I hope there's real tension to fight. But I hope you actually release me of all this, because tomorrow's family day. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. And I'm going to take my whole family with me to Austin. Guess what, family? 4 o'clock. This is what's happening. They don't know about it, but that's what's happening. And then, so if you could release me of it, that'd be cool too. But you can only release me of it by saying, okay, I'll accept this this organism can come on my podcast. I'll accept $1 million from him to be invited to a foundation to do good.
Okay, so we honestly have no idea what he took. I've been looking at this story. I want to do a full video of it, but yeah, this video sucks too. Basically, over the last I think it started from right here.
Some of you know about Barbarian.
Yeah.
It's
Like, this popped up a week ago, where, again, you see his face, all these scabs and all that stuff. He started rambling on and on. Initially, he said something about his wife and problems with his wife. But, like, dude, this guy is fucking tweaking. Like, it's not mushrooms, it's not psychedelics. This is some form of amphetamine. Whether, it's, I don't know much about the what you call it, kratom or stuff like that. But I've heard, even though they help people, they can also fuck you up, right? Um, and again, too, you gotta look at this from a logical perspective. Where Liver King was one of the biggest um characters, names, channels on the internet. He was raking in millions and millions and millions of dollars, and he still is selling those supplements. Those supplements are still on. Um, oh, it's 100% psychosis. I mean, what else drives you to fly all the way to Austin, Texas, post pictures of you with AR-15s and shit, and calling for a fight against Joe Rogan? Um, but like, you look at before this, right? Nothing. It's just him doing his normal thing. And then, what would this be? The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like, you get the point. Like, there's easily like 30 videos there. But, like, okay, I want to go full screen for this. So, with addiction, right? You're addicted to mushrooms, coke, well, whatever it may be. When it comes to psychosis, your entire mind is trapped. And a lot of these psychosis, man, you don't walk away from it. My doctor did not think I'd get out of mine, right? And, I didn't believe what I was saying, but I was still saying it. Kind of like, say it into, existence, which you can do, but you gotta put the work in it. But, like, you look at the BJ shit, right? You look at him, countless Instagram videos of him going off about his family being replaced, his family, you know, um, being taken out by the government. And the biggest thing I want people to look at when they go and watch those videos is the tone of voice, the speech pattern. Because, when BJ Penn was making all these videos, he was talking about this. He was talking about how fake Lorraine took over. Look at her ass. Look at her ass. Might as well. Fuck it. I'll bring up BJ Penn's Instagram. I haven't looked at it in a few days, so maybe we'll find a live update together. But let's see. Even his posting too went down, right? Um, go to browser. There we go. Um, so you look at BJ Penn right now, getting more, normalish posts, but like you see even right here the red text, which by the way I started doing the red and white text before BJ Penn. Um, I kind of even moved away from it just because of all this stuff. But like you see it, like, even when we go all the way down, right? Where, um, where is the video of him? I want to find the video of him, another mask thing. The video of him following, his mom around, and he was pointing out her, okay, this one works.
Lorraine Shin, my brother's GD pen.
Okay, so before we play this clip, I want you to pay attention to the voice tone, the speech pattern, and this is exactly what people on meth are like. This is 100% what happens when they are either high. The worst part of about meth too is it really destroys you when you're off of it. It's not even the what happens when people are on meth. When they're on meth, they can be dangerous, but when they're off, when they're feeding for that high, that's when they are the scariest.
Reagan Penn and Kalani Mamazuka were all murdered. And this picture right here, I took it during the governor's campaign. My mom's anti-helix is falling off and in her ear. And then you can see the two different kind of skins on the back of her neck, that she's wearing some kind of makeup, a skin makeup. And then here's my brother. I thought his ears looked funny, so I go, let me see your ears. And
okay, so like when he's trying to convey the point, right? It's like he'll talk like this, and then when he jumps on the point, he's all hyper and energetic.
And then I looked and I saw his eye later, and then he has freckles on his ear. And none of us have freckles. Not even my white dad doesn't even have freckles. So just I want to ask the Hilo Police Department, what are you guys gonna do? Let's get these guys. Let's get these guys. They got murdered. They go find out these people, and then we got to take DNA tests for all the other. The Lorraine Shin, my brother's GD pen.
Right? Like you see what I'm saying about the speech tone, right? And again, BJ Penn is probably the biggest case. You got the Nick case. You got the Bonner case. You got the War Machine case. You got Tony Ferguson a few years ago when he flipped his truck, right? And it's... Didn't Francis Ngannou have a point about the whole healthcare thing? I made my video about that the other day, right? Or actually yesterday, when I went through all the receipts about Dana trashing Francis, the video that Francis made where he was talking about specifically healthcare providers, mental health, better pay, all of these things that Francis said. And the irony of this situation is that it's John Jones, right? It's Dana's guy. Literally the guy that Dana White called to replace Francis with is the exact example why Francis was absolutely fucking right. And he destroyed his legacy. He fumbled the bag. Really? He went out, fought Tyson Fury. A lot of people thought he wanted 15 mil. Fought Deontay Wilder, got knocked out, 15 mil. And then he got an extra 8 mil. That did fold PFL because of it. But again, the healthcare, the fighter pay, all of this stuff. The irony of it all coming to light this year. And we know why. It's because Pereira isn't saving the UFC. If Pereira did not, again, every fight that Pereira had last year was short notice. 303, Connor's injured, Pereira steps in. International Fight Week, wasn't that also supposed to be the Connor fight? Or no, it was supposed to be Connor or John, I think. Nobody's stepping up. Pereira comes in. UFC 300, nobody wants that. They come in. But like again, man, it's go back and watch that video that Francis has on his channel. Why I left the UFC, and he was fucking dead right about everything. And Dana White doesn't want to bring him back because Dana White knows Francis is right. You know, whatever. The motorcycle accident, that's a completely different situation. He was in that hospital with the family, doing everything in his power to help. And you know, we don't really know what happened that night. We don't know how fast Nagano was going. We don't know whether the woman was in the street. But when you look at the fucking John Jones shit, it is so black and white that you look at this, man. 3 years he held up the division. They gave Cyril Gahn the interim title fight against Derek Lewis purely because Francis Ngannou could not fight in that month, and he literally said, "Okay, September, let's do it." Or, you know, John Jones, you can go to Thailand, you can go sniff guys' hair, you can do all this stuff, you can get arrested for DUI as many times as you want. But any other fighters, GSP, Anderson Silva, um, Randy Couture, biggest one right there. All of these, fighters, Dana White, the moment they fucked him over, or he felt he was fucked over, cut that bridge. Yeah, GSP came back, but he still fucking hates GSP, and he hates GSP even more because of, what, ooh, actually, we can end off that. He hates GSP more because he did the exact same thing twice. You know, Hendricks won that fight. What happened after, GSP left, though? Hendricks pops, USADA comes in, Hendricks completely goes downhill. Even John Jones haters are gonna hate this. Look at how many guys he fought that were clearly on something, and even Pop. Vitor, Henderson, I think had a couple pops. I don't know, man. It's just about consistency. But we are almost at 8 o'clock. I'm going to have to dip. But let's read the charges, and then I will either. Okay, what's today? Today is Wednesday. I might even make a video about this, the Liver King shit tomorrow. You think he just collapsed physically? Mentally? Yeah. I mean, it's, because again, man, we're all fans of fighters, know that, boy. Put yourself in John Jones' situation. 23 years old, you become champion, you're face of the company, you're demolishing everyone. The only loss that you have in your career to that point is a bullshit loss. And, you get all that money. You're in front of the people. You have all this fame. It gets to people's head, man. It really does. But, yeah, I've got like 10 more minutes here. The Liver King charged with making terroristic threats towards Joe Rogan. Fuck off. Brian Johnson, better known by his online persona Liver King, has been arrested and charged with allegedly making a terroristic threat towards UFC color commentator Joe Rogan. Austin police confirmed the arrest to MMA fighting on Wednesday after Johnson made a series of bizarre and meandering videos on social media where he challenged Rogan to a fight. He actually went as far as flying into Austin, where Rogan resides, while continuing the challenge podcaster and comedian. On Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, at approximately 9:30 a.m., Austin Police Department (APD) detectives were notified that a subject identified as Brian Johnson, known as Liver King, had made threats against Joe Rogan on his Instagram profile. Austin police told MMA Fighting in a statement. Detectives reviewed the post and observed that Johnson was traveling to Austin while continuing to make threatening statements. Detective, detectives contacted Mr. Rogan, who stated he had never had any interaction with Johnson and considered the post to be threatening. Based on the information, detectives obtained an arrest warrant for Johnson on a charge of terroristic threat. Later that day, at approximately 5:59 p.m., APD officers located Johnson at the Four Seasons Hotel located at 98 San Jacinto Boulevard and took him into custody without incident. He was transported to Travis County Jail and charged with terroristic threat, a Class B misdemeanor. This remains an active investigation, and there is no further information. No further information is available at this time. Johnson actually posted videos on his Instagram account after he was arrested in custody by police for making the threats against Rogan prior to flying to Austin. Johnson made separate posts challenging Rogan to a fight, instructing whoever runs his social media accounts to record anything and everything as he continued to go on strange rants. Um, I don't think I showed this video either. This is the one I'm gonna end this off on. Because this one is both hilarious. Where the fuck did it go? Um, this one is both hilarious and also scary. Um, but let's go to this one.
Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight. Honorable. And we don't have to pretend or make any videos. The world is watching. They'll make the videos for us. And you don't have to hold a camera. You can hold the hand of somebody that you love, because what happens next to you, you're going to need to remember that feeling. You're going to need something more than what you did to give you something to fight for, because I have my family to fight for. And I'll die for them, you know that. And you're a black belt, but you...
Oh yeah. Okay, like Joe Rogan would fucking, dude, it wouldn't even be close. Joe Rogan could have his eyes closed and one hand behind his back, and he would demolish Liver King. Like it's the same thing as buddy from Young Turks. Shit, what's the guy name? The fat Indian guy, Chink. Yeah, Chink. Remember when he challenged Joe Rogan to a fight? I can't stand the Young Turks, man. Never have been a fan of them. Even in my times of being on that side, even being against them, and now at the point where I don't, I don't support any side. Politics is a sham. They're all just trying to make money for each other, and they're all friends at the end of the day. Well, like, dude, this is an issue, man.
Something like this. willing to die, hoping that you'll choke me out. I pray to God because that's a dream come true. It feels good. And then the limbs, I'm fighting for my family. So limb. Go ahead. But then you have to contend with something else. And I weigh 177 pounds, an actual savage. And so at first you're like, fuck that guy. And right when you all of a sudden he did get your attention, which I already did before this, you're saying, I'm gonna choke that motherfucker, that piece of fucking shit. I'm gonna choke him out. That's what warriors do. You and Andrew Tate are good warriors. But you're actually better than that real tension we have. Comedy that you do is good and true. We have real tension. But what I see in you is comedy is good and true. Touch points. How people laugh if we don't make fun of them at their expense. They laugh. You should all make fun of me. You should all make fun of me at my expense. Trust me, that it still works, and then you should get paid for it. And let's go. Because we're leaving. We're going to Austin. What was my very last point?
That we're gonna kick Joe Rogan's ass?
The real G.
Look at how do you guys see how fucking blue his mouth is?
Said it. Oh, it's my speech. Justin Fitz. Record anything and everything. Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to.
Okay, like this motherfucker too. Like, this is like full blown fucking schmeagle.
Record anything and everything. Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight.
Man. Okay, but yeah. I could literally sit here for like the next hour, going through these videos. I'm gonna save them. Yeah, definitely a weird guy. Yeah, it literally was a Smeagol call. But I'm gonna save all of this for the end. You know, might as well follow him for shits and giggles. But yeah, that's what I got. This has been episode 2 of MMA Community Circle. I don't know. That's just the name I picked for this. I'm going to try and at least do 1 hour every Wednesday after I upload my predictions. Go over predictions. Go over the biggest news stories. So stay tuned. Turn on notifications. All that stuff. Thank you for watching. Shout out Jerry too. Jerry, you've been around for quite some time. You comment on nearly everything I make, so I appreciate you, man. Love the hell out of you. Other than that, man. Other than that, have a good one. Tune in next week. And, yeah, we got UFC 317. I'm gonna make a video on this crazy fucker. So, yeah, later.